2. Monday, April 14th, I'll call the CDA meeting to order. You're gonna have to help me with people's names.
I got it.
All right.
Roll call.
Roll call vote.
Sorensen.
Yeah.
Gotsky.
Here.
McMerrill.
Here.
Liddicoat.
Here.
Chapman Johnson.
Here.
Bruce. We have a quorum. Thank you all.
If nobody has any questions, I would take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Again, if nobody has any questions, I would take a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 11th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting minutes are approved. On to the agenda items. Alan?
So your first item that I wanted to bring forward, so we were talking a little bit about this at a recent council meeting. The city of Ripon applied for a small business development grant through the WEDC. We were awarded $240,000 as part of that program. The concept behind it is a regional collaboration between Ripon, Ripon, North Fond du Lac, and Campbellsport. There was a match component that was brought forward in the application of approximately $60,000, that each community would have access to the funds, but there would be a grant component of loans, and there would be a committee formed amongst the group with 5 members on it, including representation from Ripon, Ripon, North Fond du Lac, Campbellsport, and Envision Greater Fond du Lac. There would then be terms set for 2 loan programs, including a startup and a expansion. And so, generally speaking, there's a whole process that we're building out and launching that program because it's new. But the city of Ripon will have applicants come in. There will be times that those applicants may come to the CDA as well for a startup, right? So there could be 2 kind of applications in tandem, as I explained here. But there are going to be ones that don't come here because we don't have a program or whatever. And the CDA has $50,000 that's been budgeted for this year, that I'm requesting that you just approve and allocate up to $15,000 to fund the city's match as part of this program, right? So, you know, generally speaking, the fund is set up in its operating rules that we can't have more than 50% of the $240,000 go to one community. So there may be a chance that if we have a number of applicants and a number of loans go out through that fund, that we need more money. But generally speaking, we're trying to keep it as kind of equitable or equal as possible between the group of 4 municipalities, so one isn't just taking all of the money and you know, not providing opportunity for other communities to have access to the fund. We want to get the money out fast because it is disbursement based from the state, and we are on about a 1.5 year period here to get money out. And you know, we will be seeing applications, I would guess, coming through in the next couple weeks. There are a couple projects, a little bit larger projects in the city that could benefit from this that are we've talked to. So that's kind of the background of it. Happy to answer any questions. The CDA has approximately $60,000 of money set aside for it right now. We had about $15,000 in the 2024 budget. That was then, there was one loan that, or grant that went out last time we met. Then there was $50,000 allocated again, so you had around $60,000. So this would allocate $15,000 and authorize me to execute the loan agreements through the WRNC fund, Opportunity Fund, on behalf of the CDA. So that's kind of what we're asking for to keep this moving along. Happy to answer any questions.
Who provides the loan documentation to help you with that?
That will all be operated through Envision Greater Fond du Lac, and I'll just try to pull
Do
this
they
up.
get an administrative fund for that? Anything off the top of those grants, or is it partially funded by the state?
So the idea is to create a revolving loan fund moving forward, right?
But I would imagine they want an administrative fee.
So there will be an interest rate charged
Uh-huh.
on a person, and that will go to the administration of the fund and roll back in and cover expenses. Generally speaking, though, a lot of honestly, like, I feel like we're setting it up in a sense that once we have the model down, the model is down, and we don't have to go back to an attorney or go back to, have things redrafted time and time again, because they're going to be similar administrative things that are baked into it. But in terms of their management of it, they haven't said we're taking a cut or anything from the
Yeah.
interest,
Yeah.
but I don't believe that they're going to do that at this point.
Okay, so then in
Yeah.
the interest, that it become a rolling fund then?
Yes.
Like we used to have?
That's the whole concept,
Okay.
is to have at least, through the first go around, the 240 plus
Okay.
come back in, and then more or less the communities, each administrator is sort of taking on a lot of that administrative role
Okay.
that would otherwise be required to have someone take a percentage of the loan interest, and the city of Ripon is taking on the management of the actual grant through the state, which is just something we're doing out of the kindness of our heart because we're such good people here.
Okay.
So this is the launch of it. So it's just sort of this. I fill out a questionnaire. So everything will kind of be funneled through Envision to kind of vet, so we don't have individuals just applying without understanding the thought behind it, as well as the requirement that they do take technical assistance from Envision. So the example I'll provide is just a hypothetical. If you wanted to start a business or expand it, we would say contact your local administrator, talk to them about it, talk to Craig or other economic development people within your community, but go to Envision, funnel it through there so they can get them started on the right path. Because if it's a startup and they need a business plan helping, or if it's an expansion and they need financial planning help with that kind of stuff, we want that done up front. So when they get through the door, it's not a million questions or how much risk is involved here. It's been vetted along the way. So generally speaking, this is a new fund. We'll see how it goes. We don't know what the general demand will be, but we just want to get it rolling with as little obstacles as possible, because the general vibe we get is that other funds available within the county for similar efforts and expansions are kind of inaccessible, so we kind of want to do it more streamlined. So this is where it's launched. There'll be a whole application, trying to kind of cut through some things in the application process so it's not overly intimidating, because it can be for a business owner or an entrepreneur. So.
And this is the Opportunity Fund. The
Yes.
WRNC also has a separate expansion fund, right?
So there's one pot of money. There are two programs,
Okay.
and it's basically first come, first serve. There's not a pot allocated to one thing or
Okay.
the other. We separated it out because part of the WEC, they said, well, we want a diverse, right, pool of applicants, or we want the money to be spread out among multiple businesses. And what we found was a lot of us do have some startup funds, and access to capital up front, while it may be difficult, Envision felt that the expansion component of access to capital, and the expansion opportunities were being underserved within the county. So we kind of put more money in that pot of what you can apply for. And, you know, if every community does 3 expansion at the $25,000, the money is out, right? If we do 4 expansions and 20, or however the math comes out to be, right? Startups, great. The WEDC and the grant and we don't care, right? We just got to get the money out and back in, and we can tweak it from there, because then it kind of becomes deregulated after it's out and back in. So we have some things to follow through with the grant while it's initially out, and then after it's out, it kind of becomes a pot of money held at probably Envision. They'll probably have it in an account there.
That's like exactly the account. If you get it all out, can you then apply for a round 2?
This was leftover. If everybody remembers the bounce back grants that were basically given out for $10,000 a couple years ago, just during COVID, which a number of businesses in Ripon took advantage of. They had money left, and they said, "What do we do?" And they had $3 million. So they made an announcement today. We were on the news. Ellen said, there were
5
Yep.
o'clock.
Yep. So the governor made a press release today, and I believe there were 14 awards made across the state, and everybody's now kind of building out their programs. So, so you know, it kind of provides me the opportunity to get these across the finish line, and I'll report back anytime there is one that comes through that is funded, if it's not here otherwise, for another ask. So.
And just to clarify, what is the 15 for? Just like as like
It's a match.
just
So
like good thing of faith, or like
no, it's just basically, you know, what'll happen is we'll structure it in a sense that it is. So somebody comes in for an expansion grant and they get, or an expansion loan. It's a loan, right? If they pay 80% and they get $25,000, the $5,000 is forgiven. So that goes, the $5,000 goes out the door. That's the city's match, or the CDA's match,
Okay.
a part of it. So if they make all their payments and they get the 20 grand plus the interest on whatever terms are set for the payment structure, the $5,000 is forgiven and they don't have to pay it back. So in event that they default or something, yeah, then they are penalized and they have to pay back the full amount. But generally speaking, the goal is to forgive, so that portion, the $15,000, isn't going anywhere today. It's just being allocated, so when there is an application through the fund, it can be drawn upon.
okay, that makes sense.
And then if they do default, it goes back to the CDA. It's all
It'd
earmarked.
come back
Comes
to,
around.
yep,
Okay.
so,
Okay.
so it'd come back around, back into the city's portion of it. It would not go to the regional fund. The only amount that's going back to the regional fund is the original 240 or whatever gets out over the next couple months here, or next 18 months, hopefully, so. Bit of a unique thing, but, that's, you know, it's probably the easiest place to pull from. And again, in terms of businesses, it's 25 employees or under. You don't have to be in the downtown. You can be a commercial or industrial business. You know, you can be just about anything and apply. So there's no restriction on that. So.
You don't need any action from us because the council already approved it, right?
But the 15,000, if you can
Just looking for an allocation.
allocation of 15,000 and authorize the city administrator to execute and close awards on behalf of the CDA within the WRNC program, that's what I would ask
Okay,
for.
I'll move that.
Okay.
You can write it out.
Yep.
Seconded.
Any other questions? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you. And just to be, they've announced it at a state level. We are working with the WEDC to bring the deputy secretary to Ripon to announce it as well and go on a brief tour of the downtown in the next,
That's Tuesday the
is it?
Wednesday the 23rd.
Or Thursday, the 23rd.
That's Wednesday, the
Wednesday.
23rd.
Yeah.
Wednesday, the 23rd, you are correct.
Mhm.
So
9 a.m. at Carnegie is where we'll start.
they wanted to move to 8:30.
Oh, okay. I guess if I'd be reading those emails on a timely basis.
Or change to your clock on your computer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and if, they did announce the WRNC fund at Envision's annual meeting last week, and, you know, and to promote it, kind of release it to the public as well, so that was a positive message as well, because 4 communities came together to,
And it was not without stating that Adam did all the work on the grant. and
well,
everything.
that was, you know, whatever.
That was
We're gonna
a
put
nice plug for
Yeah,
you.
well,
and the
I don't,
city.
it's not about me.
Yeah.
So you can update us or the city on awards that you're executing?
We'll provide a report whenever one goes out, you know, I'll let you all know, either in the meeting or outside of it, so.
Okay.
You'll probably know, based on,
Okay, that's-
yeah.
Your walkabout's at 8:30 on the 23rd.
So 8:30 will probably be in the office 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, so the walkabout will probably start around 9. If it works out, we'll tour, or at least stop by Ernesti Organics. I have to chat with Brian yet, so if he's seeing this live, sorry. But we'll do Ernesti Organics. We'll walk by the Village Green, because we got the $50,000, I'm hoping we get the $50,000 WEDC Vibrant Spaces grant, close that out. And then we'll walk.
We got you a check. We
Oh,
got it in.
perfect,
So we'll get you that.
perfect.
What are you gonna do with what are you gonna do more to the Village Green?
Mhm.
What are you gonna, what?
So an electrical service goes in, and some of this is already made, the improvements.
Okay.
With the pergola and that kind of stuff. But electrical improvements, and then an 8-foot wide sidewalk from Seward Street to the pergola, to make the pergola handicap accessible.
Oh, good idea.
Technically, it's handicap accessible, but it'd be more compliant if it's
So you're putting in a different amp service or
another one.
another one? We
Another
have now
200.
200, so you're gonna put in a second 200 amp
Mhm.
service? Okay.
A third,
A third?
yeah.
For all those
More
rocket
ways for
motors.
electrocution.
Yeah, this will be toward the end of the property, so we can
Okay.
get better coverage. Yeah, and then we'll end at Knuth Brewing Company with their WEDC grant.
And Main Street Award,
Correct, yeah.
so. So we're
That's a
planning that out as part of
that's a
this whole thing.
block.
It's very walkable, as I
Yep.
tell you. Anyway,
All right. I would take a motion to adjourn to closed session.
So moved?
Second.
Oh, then we'll have to say it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is adjourned to, no, meeting is adjourned to closed